Ladies and gentlemen, I have very unfortunate news. The sign has fallen. The scotch tape gave out, and when I set this up today, it fell. Have a moment of silence for the comment. I have more scotch tape though, so I'll put it up. Oh my fucking god. I'm approximately 3 seconds away from wreaking havoc on my undergarments. So last video was an iceberg video, and it wasn't really an in-depth video. It was just kind of like a very basic. Now these are some things I find interesting from the first few tiers. Let's talk about it. And I didn't go too far in depth to it, but a commenter brought up I could have explained things a little bit better. And you know, I kind of agree. So I thought I would make a new video and just do it better. I guess you could say the first video was me testing the waters. So moving on to the first layer that I didn't touch here. Now there's no name, just like the other tiers here, so I'm gonna have to name all of them myself. I think, honestly, he looks like a Benjamin to me. Now, Benjamin also gets the gift of being featured in my thumbnail. Good job, Benjamin. Now, first off in the Benjamin tier, we have the Yonaguni Monument. I think that's how it's pronounced.
Yonaguni.
Well, there you go. Honestly, when I first read it, I thought it said Yonaguni Moment, and I was thinking, like, what is this? Like, if something bad happens on the ship, are they gonna call, oh, that's a total Yonaguni moment, man. That's, oh, what, someone got smashed by one of the masts when it fell over? Ah, that's such a Yonaguni moment. Oh, what's wrong? You're sad that you got a fucking cannonball to your leg? Oh, you just got fucking Yonaguni'd, piece of shit. Got him. For the Monoguni Monument, holy fuck, that's a mouthful. Anyway, so in 1986, it was discovered by a scuba diver off the coast of Taiwan. Now the structure has been pretty heavily debated whether it's naturally occurring or man-made. Some people think it's like a city. You know, I don't really see it, but sure. Maybe it's just Japan's Atlantis. I have no idea. Maybe this is where Mojang is hiding my Herobrine skin that I paid for on the PS3 pack for Minecraft, and then they removed after I paid for it. Anyways, now the structure is around 165 feet long and about 65 feet wide in that ballpark. And I've also seen a lot of people say that it might just be an old stone quarry, like where you would just cut chunks out of whatever material you wanted. Like if it was like a limestone quarry, you just cut and take it and haul it away on your back, you know, on your little mule that'll die partway through the desert, and then you have to drag the limestone slab to your house and end up dying of dehydration on the way there, which would explain the odd looking shapes, and that it just sunk down due to earthquakes because it's in an earthquake prone area, or just from rising tides. So obviously it must have happened a long fucking time ago if that is true. Which, speaking of a long time ago, it's estimated to be around 6,000 years old, but some people think it's far, far older, and I have no idea. But because it's in an earthquake prone area, that could also explain like the very defined like segments that it has, like the layers. It's like an ogre or an onion. Just the strange like cutout shapes could just be from weird currents, I guess. Again, it's weird either way, but it just kind of looks cool. Is it natural? Is it not natural? I have no fucking idea. Tell me what you think in the comments. Now next up is the 2003 Great White Incident. Now I made a mistake while researching this. I just kind of pasted that in the Google. That's what I always do just to start off, and then I branch out into different websites and different questions from there. But the first thing that came up was a nightclub fire. And my first thought was, oh no, oh god, the sea creatures are evolving. Now they're not gonna be biting fish anymore. No, they're gonna be biting ass at the club. Oh god. I honestly, I thought the sharks had just fucking flooded the place, set fire, and just arsonists on the run now. But luckily enough, I was mistaken, and I just needed to add ocean onto the end of it. So basically what this whole Great White Incident thing is about is in 2003, researchers had tagged a great white shark just to study it for, you know, research, and the shark was about 9 feet long. So it was no, you know, tiny shark. It was a big suka. It was a big fuck. And 2 months later, they had found, I'm not sure if it was the shark carcass or the tag. It would make more sense if it was the tag washed up on a beach. So 2 months after they had tagged it, they found it on the beach. So, and they're kind of like, oh, well, that's a little bit weird now, isn't it? So that kind of suggests something bigger had, you know, eaten it. Qui-Gon Jinn, your quote is really coming in useful here. Thank you very much. Coming in clutch. So of course, this sparked a whole lot of controversy, debate, and theories. Oh boy, do we love theories. Oh. Now these ranged from giant like octopus to like the Kraken to like fucking Godzilla and Megalodon. And there was actually a documentary about this, which was a Megalodon documentary, I believe, because I think I fucking watched it as a little kid. And of course, being the shark kid that I was, I believed every single word of it. But it doesn't make any sense looking back on it, because what the hell would a Megalodon eat? It would need to eat a whole fucking lot to sustain that size, and it doesn't make sense. But anyways, that's a little bit of a tangent. So moving back to this, they had actually found that the shark, like the tag itself had dropped 1,900 feet, almost just under 2,000 feet into the depths of the ocean. Now, I don't really think I have to tell you, I'm not very astute when it comes to marine biology, but I think you should come close for this. It's a little secret we'll keep just between us.
Dropping that quickly is not normal.
The actual tag had detected a temperature rise to around the size of a digestive system, and it stayed there in that temperature for days while it kept going up higher and lower, and it just seemed like whatever had eaten it was just swimming around having a fucking grand old time, until of course the tag had come out through its shit, or maybe just barfed it up. I don't know. It came out. So they made a documentary about this. The person that made it went by the name of Dave Riggs. I don't know why I'm saying like, oh, he went by the name of, it's an alias. It's his name. His name is Dave Riggs. So the researcher had said that the internal temperature of the animal that ate the shark is weird, and that it's too low to be a killer whale, but it's too high to be like another shark, unless it was a massive shark. So they kind of just came to the conclusion that it was just like a big shark. It was just suffering from giganticism, because it just makes sense. It's just big. It's a big boy. Now, of course, some people still think it's the megalodon, but I mean, sure, to each their own, I guess. So next up is the bloop, and I think we should just listen to it before I even start talking about it. So that was a noise that was heard in 1997 by the NOAA, which, if you don't know, is the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Agency. And that was a really, really loud sound. Now, you could hear that noise in the range of 3,000 miles. That is a very, very, very loud sound. Now, it was an ultra low frequency, but it did rise rapidly within the span of a minute. Now, the clip I showed you was sped up a whole fuck ton, because I'm not just gonna have a minute clip of just from the fucking seafloor. Thank you very much. So the sound was heard in the southern tip of South America and was picked up by many underwater microphones that the NOAA just places, I believe it's to monitor seismic activity and to just kind of listen to the sounds of the sea. Now, the NOAA's lead researcher, Dr. Fox, had believed that it was a creature that did this, and thought that, the sound that it made resembled something that a creature would make. But the problem with this is that's a deafening sound that must have been made by a huge fucking creature. But later on, they discovered that it was just the sound of like an ice quake, or ice calving, I believe it's called, which is just like the, pieces of an iceberg falling into the ocean, like breaking. So, and the reason it was distorted was because it was just so, because it was bouncing off the wild abstract like shapes of the actual ice around it, and so it created this really weird sound. Anyways, that's the bloop. Now, next up is the biblical Leviathan. I mean, this one was a little weird because there's not really much to it. It's just there's the character of the Leviathan in the Bible, which is this all-powerful creature on earth that every man is afraid of whenever they see it, and nothing can penetrate its armor, and it's pretty much invincible, but it just lives. God allows it to live, just like every other person too. I guess it's to make a point. But I also heard somewhere and read somewhere that it's like incarnation of Satan or something like that. I'm not too sure about that one. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's kind of it. I mean, if you look into a little deeper, Leviathan is kind of like a dragon. Almost every single culture has some version of a dragon, so it's kind of like this unifying Leviathan. I'm kind of reaching there, but that's kind of it. So the next one here is the Kraken is real. I think this is just a reference to the giant squid stuff that we've been seeing lately, like the one I showed in the first ocean anomaly iceberg. There's a squid that was like 55 feet long, found in Japan.
The giant squid in its natural habitat. The mysterious creature can grow.
Again, not much to this one. I mean, it's not like a real Kraken, like fucking Davy Jones Kraken, but there are giant squids and they are fucking terrifying. They're also cool at the same time. It kind of makes you think, like, what else is in the ocean that deep? Now, giant squids don't really come up to the surface very often unless they're dying. Cool little fact for you. Anyways, moving on. So the next one is called the Globster. Funny name, I like it. Now, the Globsters are just hunks of like organic flesh that just come up on the beaches. They wash up on beaches, and that's kind of all they do. Just an organic mass, just kind of chilling, The original Globster, I think, was from New Zealand. It was a whale carcass, but they misidentified it and were like, oh, what the fuck is this thing? But yeah, it appeared on the beaches of New Zealand in 1965, and it was very, highly debated what the fuck this giant hunk of fucking flesh is. What the hell is this? Because it looked hairy. They thought, like, oh, it can't be a whale. There's fucking hair on it. But the people that took a sample, the scientists said, like, yeah, no, it's a fucking whale. It's just so disgustingly decomposed that it just looks like hair at that point. Yep, that's the mystery of the Globster. So last but not least for this tier, the U-28 creature, otherwise known as the German U-boat 60-foot crocodile. Now this is a very weird story. So pretty much, just to sum it up really quickly, because I'm tired as fuck and I want to go to sleep after I edit this. A German U-boat was engaging a British steamer, and it shot down the steamer with a torpedo. The torpedo sunk that motherfucker, and it went right into the ocean. A few seconds later, it exploded. And along with the other things in a British steamer, you know, the things that belong, like supplies, metal, you know, debris from the explosion, normal things that you'd expect. Out came a 60-foot crocodile, flew up into the air and then plopped back down. And I'm sure the coolest belly flop you've ever seen. And then it kind of squiggled around and then went back under the water. Now, this report has some credibility because it was in the official logbook of the commander, Friar George G. von Hostner. I don't fucking... So it was in his report, so it does have some credibility, and there's no reason for him to make it up. I mean, I guess he's just a silly guy like me. Now, I don't really have to explain to you how kind of impossible this would be, but I mean, maybe there's just a surviving ancient crocodile. There's a lot of theories surrounding this. Maybe it's a mosasaurus that's still alive, that survived the extinction somehow. Yeah, it's just kind of weird. And it's not like you can ever find the proof of it, considering it took place in the fucking First World War. But that's the story of the German U-boat 60-foot crocodile, my guess. And that's also it for the video. Here's some videos that you like. I really appreciate you guys watching. Like and subscribe. Leave a comment telling me what you think. I hope you enjoyed. And stay hard.